Hi everyone, in this tutorial today I'm going to show you how to cut and sew this corporate office dress in a very simple way. Here's the fabric I'm making use of. I have 2.5 yards of this fabric here. I don't really know the name of this fabric, but it's a very nice fabric. Here's the right side of it. As you can see, very nice and beautiful, and this is the wrong side of it. Now I'm going to start by drafting out the upper part of my dress. I'm drafting the front and the back together on this paper. This is my starting point, which is also my shoulder line. From there, I'm going to mark out all the necessary measurements. My bust point line, my under bust line, and my waist line. I'm going to roll them out. So this is my bust point line, my under bust line, and my waist line. So now on my shoulder line from the center front and center back, I'm going to mark out 3 inches for my neck width. Half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inches. So from this point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And from this point, I'm going to mark out half of my round armhole. To have accurate measurement, what I have here altogether, I'm going to repeat it here on my center front and center back. And what I have on my shoulder line, which is 7.5 inches, I'm going to mark it out here. So I'll now connect from here to here and from here to here. So now this is my armhole line, and this is my chest line. Having done that, I'm going to label all my lines to avoid silly mistakes. My chest line, my bust point line, my under bust line, and my waist line. So I will now connect from my neck width to meet this point, which is my shoulder slant. Now for my back neck depth, I'm going to measure 1.5 inches. And for my front neck depth, I'm going to measure 3.5 inches, and I'm going to connect like so. Now to draw out my armhole, I'm going to find the midpoint of these 2 points, which is here, and I'm going to come in by 0.75. So I'm going to connect from here to here. On my chest line, I'm going to input quarter of my bust plus half inch is, just for me to draw out my armhole line. I'm going to connect from here to here with the cup side of my roller. So this is my front armhole. Now to draw out my back armhole, on this point, I'll just connect like so, from this point to this point. From the center front and center back on my bust point line, I'm going to input half of my nipple to nipple measurement. And on the waistline, I'm doing the same thing. I'll go ahead and connect like so. Now on my waistline, I'm going to come in by half inch on both sides. And from my bust point line, I'm coming down by 1 inch. I'll now connect like so on both sides. On my chest line, I'm going to input quarter of my butt, which is already there. And on my waistline, quarter of my waist plus 1 inch I'm cutting out from here. Now go ahead and connect like so. After connecting, on this side, I'm going to come up by 1 inch. No, our side is a little bit off, so I will now connect it to my dart leg like this. After connecting, I'll go ahead and cut it out. But I'm going to cut the back part first. So after cutting, this is what I have for the back. And this is my fabric. Here is the right side of it. This side is a little bit stretchy, while this side is not stretchy. And this side is what I'm using for the length. So I'll just fold my fabric into 2 like so, place my pattern on it and cut it out. Now after cutting, this is what I have. I added 1 inch seam allowance here, half inch seam allowance here, half inch seam allowance on the shoulder, then 1 inch seam allowance, zipper allowance on the center back, and half inch waist joining on the waistline. So I will now open my zipper allowance line like so and put it aside. So I'll go ahead and finish the cutting of the front part by cutting out armhole line and the neckline. Now this is my front part. To achieve the design on the left side of the dress, I'm going to open up my pattern paper like this, divide my shoulder into 2, my left shoulder into 2 like so. And I'm going to connect it straight down to my bust point line like so. blend any sharp edge that I have. Now go ahead and cut it out. So this is my left side and this is my right side. Go ahead and spread my fabric like so. This is the right side of my fabric. I'll just place my pattern on it and cut them out. After cutting, this is what I have. I added half inch here, half inch here, 1 inch here, half inch here, half inch here, half inch, half inch, half inch, and 1 inch. So this is the piece I have for this side, for the ruffle on this side. It's folded into two. I have 3.5 inches here folded into two. I later reduced it to 2 inches because I noticed it's too much for me. And the width of it is the length of my fabric, which is 60 inches. Then I'm going to put this one aside, move on to the peplum. Here is the paper for the peplum folded into two as you can see. I have more than enough here. So what I'm going to do now is to just after folding into two, I'll just measure the length of my peplum, which is 10 inches from the upper part here. And I'm going to connect. So I'll just go ahead and open up this paper like this. This is the left side and this is the right side of the peplum. And I'm going to extend this line like so. After that, this is the center of my paper. On this side, I'm going to come down by 6 inches. On this side, I'm doing the same thing, 6 inches. From the center of my paper here on this side, I'm going to mark in 3 inches. And I'm going to connect like so. After connecting on this side, I'm going to come in by 1.5 inches. And from this point, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches as well. Now go ahead and connect all the points I have here. Just watch what I'm doing, you will understand. From here to here and from here to here for the left peplum. So this is the left side and this is the right side now. I'll just connect from here to here for the right peplum. I'll now cut it out. So after cutting, this is what I have. I will indicate the upper part by drawing arrow on both sides, on both peplum like so, for me not to make any mistake after cutting. So I'll just place my pattern on the right side of the fabric and cut them out. After cutting the peplum, this is what I have. I added half inch all through the peplum, but on both sides I added 1 inch. I'm going to move on to the skirt part. So here is my skirt part. As you can see, this is the back part and this is the front part. I folded both into two, and this is 1.5 inches on the center back for my zipper allowance line. And I'm going to have a slit on the bottom of my skirt, so that slit is going to overlap each other. That is why I added 1.5 inch for that. And this is my center front. I'm going to start by marking my starting point here on the waistline, which is half inch. So that half inch is what I'm using to join it to the upper part. So on that up half inch, I'll just place the length of my upper part, which is 16 inches on it, for me to draw out all the necessary measurements. This is my hip line, which is 24 inches. And this is the full length of my dress, which is 44 inches. And the remaining 1 inch here is for my hemming allowance. So on my waistline here, I'm going to input quarter of my waist plus 1 inch dart and 1 inch seam allowance. On my hip line, I'm going to input quarter of my hip plus 1 inch seam allowance. And mind you, I'm taking all the measurement from my center front. On the full length of my dress, I'm going to input quarter of my waist plus 1 inch seam allowance, since the dress I'm making today is a very comfy dress. Now go ahead and connect it like so. And after connecting, I'm going to cut it out. After cutting it out, this is what I have. This is my front part, as you can see, and this is the right side of it. So here's the back part, which is 2 pieces. So I'll go ahead and mark my dart. I'm starting from the back part. This is the upper part of the back part, as you can see. So from the zipper allowance line on the back part, I'm going to measure my nipple to nipple, half of my nipple to nipple measurement out on the upper part and on the down part. You know, I have ½ inch here on my waistline for the same allowance. So I'm going to mark it out. I'm done marking that ½ inch out. So after that, I'll go ahead and mark the length of my dart out. I'm measuring 5 inches downward for the length of my dart. And from the center back on this line, I'm going to input half of my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'm going to connect it like so. And on the waistline, I'm going to come in by ½ inch on both sides, doing the same thing on the second part, and I'm going to connect like so. So when I get to my machine, I'll just hold it like this and stitch from the waistline slantly to meet here like so. I'm doing the same thing here. As for the upper part, I'm going to mark out my chest line first to serve as a guide. So on my chest line from the center back, I'm going to input half of my nipple to nipple measurement and connect to the waist like so. So on my waistline, I'm going to input ½ inch on both sides. And from my chest line, I'm going to mark 1 inch downward, and I'm going to connect like so. So I will let it reflect on the second part like this. And I'm going to fold it like this, stitch from here to here slantly. So I'm going to do the same thing on the second part of it, and I'm moving on to the skirt part. So here's the front part of my skirt part. As you can see, from the center front, I'm going to measure half of my nipple to nipple measurement on the waistline, and I'm going to measure 4 inches for the length of my dart from the waistline. The center front, I'm going to measure out half of my nipple to nipple measurement on this line, and on the waistline, I'm going to measure ½ inch on both sides and connect like so. I'll let it reflect on the second part of the skirt. I'll go ahead and fold it like so, stitch from the waistline slanting like this to meet here. I'm doing the same thing on the second side of it. This is my peplum, as you can see. Here is the right side and this is the left side. I'm needing two pieces of each. I'm going to gum interfacing to one part of each peplum. As for the front part of the upper part, here is it. I'll go ahead and mark my dart by marking out my center front first. I'm going to notch. After notching, I'm going to turn it to the wrong side for me to mark out all the necessary darts. So from the center front, I'm going to mark out half of my nipple to nipple measurement on this side. And I'm going to place my pattern paper on it for me to mark out my chest line. So now this is my chest line. I will also mark out my center front on my chest line. I'm going to connect straight down to the waistline. So on this side, I'm going to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement. Connect like so. On the waistline, I'm coming in by ½ inch on both sides. From my chest line, I'll just measure out my bust point line, and from my bust point line, I'll measure 1 inch downward, and I'm going to connect like so. So after connecting, I'll just fold it like this and stitch slantly to meet the waistline. On this side, I'm going to take a piece of fabric that I have for that. So here is the wrong side of this fabric, and this is the right side. I'm going to fold it into two like this. Start making pleatings here, little by little, till I reach the waistline. After stitching my pleatings, I'm going to place this one like this and stitch with ½ inch from the shoulder to the waistline. I'm done with all that I explained. This is my front part, this is the down part. I've stitched it out on both sides. Here is the wrong side of it, and this is the upper part. I'm done with it as well. Here's the design that is on the left side. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. And on this side, I've stitched my darts normally. Here is the wrong side of it. I'll just go ahead and overlock here to make it neat. So this is the upper part of my back part. As you can see, I'm done with the dart on both sides. As you can see, here is the wrong side of the both side. And this is the down part of my back part. As you can see, I'm done with the dart as well. Here is the right side. and this is the wrong side. This is my peplum, as you can see, the right side and the left side. I've gum interfacing on each of the two peplum. So I stitched from here to here with half inch. This is the right side, as you can see, and here is the wrong side. So what I'm going to do now is to trim this place and turn it to the right side. And I'm going to use my scissors to bring the angles out very well. Now go ahead and give it a good press. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of the peplum. Lest I forget, I'm going to cut interfacing for the back part and front part neckline. I'm going to fold my fabric into two, place my back on it and trace my neckline out. And after that, I'm going to cut it out. And after cutting, I'll just go ahead and hem the bottom of my facing before placing it on the main body and stitch. So here is it. I'm going to place this one. I'll let the right side face each other and place it on the neckline and stitch with half inch. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of the back part. So after stitching the neckline, I'm going to notch it a little bit, turn it to the right side and give it a good press. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of the back part. So I'm going to fold another fabric into two like this, place my front on it and trace out my neckline for me to cut out my facing. After tracing it out, I'll just cut it out. After cutting my facing, I'll go ahead and overlock the bottom here, place it on the front part, let the right side face each other and stitch the neckline with half inch. And after stitching, I'm going to notch it, turn it like this and give it a good press. Now I'm done with all that I explained. This is the back part and this is the down part of it. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. I'll go ahead now, place the upper part on the down part, let the darts align on each other and stitch the waistline with half inch. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. So this is the peplum, as you can see. I'm done doing all that I explained to it. Look how neat and beautiful it is. And this is the upper part. Here's the neckline. I'm done with it. Very neat and beautiful. So I used demi glue for the facing to make it lay very well. Now I'm going to lay the down part of the front part on the table. Place my peplum on the dart on this side. I'm going to place it like so. Use pin to hold it down. Now go ahead and turn it to the wrong side for me to trace out both sides and cut it out. Just like this. And after that, I'm going to place my upper part on it like so and stitch the waistline with half inch. Make sure the dart is aligned. Now I'm done with all that I explained. This is my front part. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. And this is my back part. So I'll go ahead and place my back on each other. Let the right side face each other. And I'm going to place my zipper on it like this for me to mark out where my stitching is starting from on the center back. So this is my zipper allowance line from the upper part to the down part. So I'll go ahead and measure 35 inches from my shoulder line and mark it out. So I'll go ahead and stitch from here to this place now, where my slit is starting from. Now I'm done stitching from here to here. So I stitch from here to here like this, just for this down part, this slit to overlap each other. So I'll go ahead and open this upper part and fix my zipper. Now I'm done with all that I explained. This is my back part. Here is the zipper. Look how neat and beautiful it is. And this is the slit. I'm going to overlock the edges of my slit and hem this one. After doing all that, I'm going to place my front on it. Let the right side of the front face the right side of the back part. Now go ahead and join the two shoulders with half inch. After joining the two shoulders with half inch, I'll go ahead and stitch both sides from the armpit to the down part with 1 inch. After doing all that, I'm going to hem the bottom of my dress all round. Now I'm done joining the two shoulders, my both sides, and I've hemmed the bottom of my dress. I'm going to turn it like so I'll go ahead and cut this place to make my allowance here lay very well. My zipper allowance to make it lay very well. Just like this. So after that, I'm going to move on to the sleeve part. Here is the basic long sleeve that I'm making use of. I have a video on it. I'm going to put the link in the box below. So I'll go ahead and spread my sleeve out. I'm going to hem the bottom of my sleeve like so. After hemming the bottom of my sleeve, I'm going to fold it like this and stitch my side seam. So I'm doing the same thing on the second sleeve. Now I'm done with my two sleeves, as you can see. I'll now go ahead and fix the two sleeves to my dress, just like this. And after fixing, I'm going to give it a good press and show you the finishing look on the mannequin. Here is the finishing look of it on the mannequin. If my tutorial has been helpful to you, please like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to turn on your notification bell for more videos. Till I see you in my next video, guys. Bye for now.